What goes around, comes around. Whenever you do something, or fail to do anything at all, there are always ramifications and consequences that will come back to affect you in return. The most simplistic embodiment of this is if you have a tantrum and you kick a ball at a wall, and the ball bounces back and hits you in the face. What goes around, comes around. The indigenous Australians, called the Aborigines, lived off the land and believed that it created and sustained them. They also believed in an alternate plane or period of existence called the Dreamtime, which is when the world was created. The Aborigines believed in certain stories as being the cause for the creation of the world. Naturally, the stories are based around the Aborigines' home, Australia. Being a people who worshipped, were sustained by, and even themselves sustained the land, many, if not most, of their stories involve somewhat fantastic representations and scenarios involving the animals native to Australia. These Dreamtime stories are like indigenous Australian creationist stories passed down through the generations, designed to give the ancient Aborigine people a way of understanding their world. However, these stories, just like the Christian Bible stories, do not just tell you about the creation of the world. They also convey messages, archetypes, which are recurring themes, morals, and standards over a people's history, advice, teach morals and behavior, as well as provide a base for their society and their laws. The ancient way of life that the Aborigine people followed was very much centered around the Dreamtime. One story in particular stands out to me and really conveys the moral standard and concept of what goes around comes around. It is the Dreamtime story of how the birds got their colors. Back in the Dreamtime, all of the bird tribes were only one color, and that color was black. One day, the peaceful dove caught his foot on a sharp bit of broken tree branch. In serious pain, the dove called out desperately for help, and all of the other birds came to his aid. The dove was still in a lot of pain, and the foot he had cut had swollen considerably. All of the other birds came closer and either provided shelter for the poor dove, or went and brought water for him to drink and to bathe his foot in. All the birds helped in one way or another, except for the crow and the magpie, who were two selfish creatures, and were irritated and angered by all of the attention and care the other birds were giving to the little dove. Crow and magpie harangued the other birds and told them they were wasting water and time, and that the little dove was done for. And it certainly seemed that way, for the dove's foot was swelling and festering more and more as each second passed. However, the other birds all very much liked the peaceful dove, and as a result ignored the crow and the magpie, and when the pair did not stop, the other birds chased them away. Suddenly the galah had an idea. With her sharp hooked beak, she rushed forward and bit the swelling foot. The dove cried out in pain, and a myriad of colours, all of the colours of nature, burst out of the dove's foot and splashed all the birds present. Some of the birds only got one colour, others got one or two, and others had more still, and some birds, like the rainbow lorikeet, were splashed with so much colour that they looked like the rainbow itself. However, the peaceful little dove was drained of all colour and shade until he was a pale, mottled grey. And so, this was how all the bird tribes got their coloured plumage, and to this day, the birds are still splashed with the colour that came from the dove. All except the selfish, bad-tempered magpie and crow, the former of which only got a very little bit of the white colour that were the last dregs, and the crow who is his original black to this day. From this story, we can gather that even the ancient Aborigines noticed and understood that what goes around comes around. The magpie and the crow's selfishness and bad-tempered nature resulted in them staying in extremely plain, dark, unappealing colours, whereas the other selfless birds who rushed to help all got splashed by the beautiful myriad of colours, which shows that the other birds were rewards for their kind, selfless actions. The kindness that the other birds sent around came back to them in return. So, this narrative, and through its implications, shows that even the ancient Aborigine culture really does enforce what we've seen countless times, that what goes around, comes around.